Hey there everybody, and welcome back to the Sakuya portion of Kuon. Last time, as you may recall, we collected all the wooden discs and spikes necessary to open this door, and what laid behind was what appeared to be a ladder heading downwards. So let's go ahead and check that out. And it appears that Dochin will be joining us wherever this underground passageway may be leading us. Also, we should probably check or switch back to the Habari. We need to save the Hien for later on, or Hien. But it looks like we've reached a dead end.
This is a dead end! What's the matter? Are you scared? Me scared? Ha! Never! Wait here! Hey! Come up here! That's a good idea! Look! It's an escape route!
So we now find ourselves inside the temple proper, with some rather ominous chanting and cadavers waiting for us.
Guarding the rear would be too dangerous for you. I got it!
And Dochin is nice enough to watch our backs while we progress forward. How very kind of him. But immediately we do find the map for the temple. We're going to take a very quick look at that. And as you can probably tell, the temple is not going to be too difficult to navigate. At least it's not too large. I get a feeling though that it might be a little bit more dangerous than the mansion was.
Banish demons and all evil spirits.
But we do have a number of different directions we can try. Sadly, this direction is actually blocked off by, well, quite an abundance of silk. Actually, seems like this entire temple has become overrun and encased in a rather large amount of silk. And over here we do find a brand new summons, the Kurugutsu Onna. Not very useful overall. We will be seeing it later on this particular update. But here we have what is one of many very, very creepy notes and messages that we will find throughout the temple. This one mentions Lady Fujiwara eating her own son. Now, for those of you that might be able to recall, Lady Fujiwara ended up running off into the temple and barring herself inside with quite a few of the other quote-unquote diseased people. As you can probably tell, that plan didn't go over so well. Now in here we do have a few chests that we can rummage through to find some more items. But of greater importance is the fact that in here, I think we will find the first part of Lady Fujiwara's diary. In it, she just goes over the fact that, well, she didn't really want her children to see her slowly decomposing. Apparently, the disease was actually pretty severe. She did bring along one of her servants, though, and that was who wrote that message on the leaf we found before, and who actually gave Ayako the silkworms that was mentioned in Utsuki's portion of the playthrough. We can also see here the mention of Lady Fujiwara finding herself awakened in something of a wicker chest with a centipede. All very ominous and creepy events. But through this door is just a save point in case we do need it. For right now, though, we should be fine. The temple's not that long. But with that, we've seemingly run out of places to go. We don't have a seal of Saturn yet. But we see yet again those two rather mysterious children we saw before whenever we, well, first headed to the temple and, well, when Ayako was kidnapped. Somehow or another, though, they've managed to clear the way for this particular door, so that means we can explore this section of the temple. Now, in this particular room, we not only have a rather unpleasant Gaki, certainly never get tired of fighting those, but we are going to find a number of different, rather interesting notes. we actually have what I think is the final portion of the inspection report. It basically goes over how well Lord Fujiwara ran under attack from, well, a number of Gaki, and that Lady Fujiwara had run off into the temple. Most of this we already kind of knew ahead of time. She also apparently believed that this particular temple had a number of miraculous healing factors behind it, and she was probably hoping that would help fight off the disease that was kind of overtaking the manor. But I guess while the inspecting priest was trying to fight off Gakis, Lady Fujiwara mysteriously disappeared. We'll see, though, that rather than merely disappearing, Lady Fujiwara was actually making some attempts to kind of distance herself from her family, mostly due to some odd hunger that she started to feel. Hungers for their flesh, and to chew on them and to consume them. Obviously, being a mother, she would rather not have done that, but for some reason she started to hear this rather odd song that seemed to overtake her better senses. She ended up eating a cat, and, well, waking up yet again inside of a wicker chest. Somehow or another, though, after waking up inside that wicker chest, she no longer felt alone, afraid, and instead, she didn't mind so much almost giving in to the hunger. And as we can kind of assume, that's when she ate her child. We also have some more helpful ice spears, which we will most definitely need.
Who are you? Why are you here?
What are you doing here, priest?
Me? Well, I'm comforting the sick. Look! These poor people have the disease. If they don't merge with other creatures, they will all die. Leave here at once. It's bad enough that I must share their fate.
I really don't think this priest should be staying here. It's definitely not safe.
Leave here at once. It's bad enough that I must share their fate.
Apparently, though, he might be diseased as the rest of these Yamabitos. And, well, there's not going to be any convincing him. Still kind of wonder, though, where those two children might have gone off to. With that haunting melody playing, we can now pretty much assume that they've managed to reach the actual main chamber of the temple. And in this silk-lined chamber, we can actually see quite a few of these Buddhas.
Banish demons and all evil spirits.
The main Buddha of interest in this particular chamber, I think, is actually called the Yakushi, which is the medicine or healing aspect of Buddha. Buddha wasn't so much considered a god as he just had different aspects of enlightenment. And by that child placing the medicine jar into the healing Buddha's hands, we now find ourselves in a rather mysterious underground chamber, much like the one we found ourselves in, upon leading our way into the temple initially. This one, though, has a much more sinister feel that I just can't seem to put my finger on. We do find, the cadaver of a previous person that had attempted to exorcise the demons. But more importantly, we actually do find our first weapon upgrade. The Sapphire Fan is relatively more damaging, but its main bonus is the fact that it does give us more defense. And also, it actually has an extended reach due to that, ice cloud that it produces out of the attacks. Very useful. We're actually going to get one more weapon upgrade before the end of the game. With this dead end, there was actually a note by that body, so let's go ahead and check that out. Apparently we've been caught in some trap. We meet a brand new and very dangerous enemy. I think they're called Amaterasu or something close to that. Basically, they are a semi-cocoon body that has gained sentience. They have, a projectile attack, which we won't see right now. But they do have quite a bit of health, and really, they do quite a bit of damage. As you saw there, that took about 20 Hibari shots to take down. Thankfully, we won't actually be running into too many of them, but whenever we do, they're always going to be fairly difficult to deal with.
Sakuya! I'm so glad to see you!
Oh dear, what was that took Dochin? Well, I get the feeling that we're gonna have to deal with it ourselves, and that means we should probably equip some better spells. Yeah, let's go ahead and try to save him as quickly as possible. Say hello to the Lady Fujiwara. Much like her husband, the Lord Fujiwara, the lady here is very fast, very damaging, and unlike her husband, she actually has much longer reach with her centipede-like appendage coming out of her neck. Thankfully though, much like her husband, we can pretty much deal with her rather easily by using our ice spears. Also, if you want to deal with her melee-wise, it's a good idea to use the chest. But if anything, much like the Lord Fujiwara, you want to take down Lady Fujiwara as quickly as possible. We also find that, well, no matter what, Dochin was pretty much destined to be killed. Also, by checking in the chest, we find, well, the next seal, which is the seal for Saturn. We also find the last words of Dochin, where he kind of directs us to the next place we need to be going, which is actually back in the manor itself. There was apparently a gate leading up to the mountain path, and it needed the seal of Saturn to unlock. Whether or not he actually had that on him before he died, or if it was something that the Lady Fujiwara had on her, it's kind of hard to say. Hopefully though, Sakuya's brother and the other priests are still relatively alive and fine. But before we actually continue on to that particular doorway that we need to go to, we can actually head back into the main chamber of the temple here and find that the secret passageway has been reopened. You may also recall that down that passageway there was a door sealed up with the seal of Saturn, and we can actually take a little detour down that way, which we are going to do right now. Now, there isn't too much to this particular area. This is actually some place we're going to be visiting much later on in the game. Our main purpose for coming down this way is merely to get what is one of the most powerful spells in the game. This particular spell card is yet another fire-based attack, but as we'll be seeing in a couple of videos, it's probably the most powerful attack in the game. For right now, though, we're going to have to do a rather large amount of backtracking, so we're going to do a rather nice jump cut and find ourselves back on the far side of the manor at the west gate. And we actually find ourselves outside of the manor proper. And this is actually that mountain path that was being mentioned in Dochin's writing. And rather ominously, they give us quite a few healing items and saving items, and that's due mostly to the fact that the mountain path is actually fairly dangerous.
Sakuya!
It's good to see you. We're about ready to climb the mountain to visit the shrine.
Oh, this is my sister, Korea.
I'm pleased to meet you. I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
No, not really. Hey, there's something you should know, Dorio.
I'm aware of the dangers that lie ahead of us. But it's the only path, isn't it?
The sacred ropes are tied at both sides of the gate, so we can't open it. It's been so long. We haven't seen the outside world. Except for this forsaken path, connecting the manor to the shrine.
Utsuki. Why don't we go to the shrine? Perhaps we'll find some answers there. Well, what do you think? Shall we go then?
What about your father? Still, he said his investigation is still incomplete. Very well. Let's go together.
I will lead the way. Take up the rear guard, behind the girls.
But as they head off up the mountain, I think this is a good stopping point for the video for right now. Hopefully you'll join me next time as we head up the mountain and find out what's going on in Kuon.